Okay, so let's say you're interested in debugging some formulas inside of Excel. How can you go about doing it? Well, if you have the FormulaBoost add-in, there's a feature called the FormulaTree that allows you to debug complicated formulas in Excel. There's three ways you can launch the FormulaTree window. You can right-click and just click Analyze Formula from the context menu. You can click the ribbon button here, FormulaTree. Or you can press Control-Shift-T, T like teddy bear, and that will also launch the FormulaTree window. So let's do Control-Shift-T. Okay, I've got the FormulaTree window open now. I notice that there's two main components to it. There's the formula here that's been written in a formatted view. It looks like there's been line breaks and spaces added so that things are lining up and things are more readable. And you can see there's some spaces added between operators and things like that to make it more readable. And then we have the formula tree on the right over here. This is a traditional tree type control in Windows, which allows you to expand and collapse nodes and showing you what's deeper. So the purpose of the formula tree is to break down the formula into smaller little sub-formulas and show you what each of those sub-formulas evaluates to in the value column. That's what the value column is doing. We can see, so let's back up to the top level here. This is an if statement. The if statement we know has three parts to it. The is error is returning false. And then that means that that means that this must be the answer. This is an if statement plus another if statement, which we can expand. But I'm going to press Shift and left. It's like I can go collapse all nodes at this level. That'll bring it back like this, because right now I'm walking through all of the components. And now I can see that this if plus if, the first if is actually 0, and this if here is actually the number that's being returned. If I go into this if statement, I can see, I'll do a collapse again. I can see again that it's looking at whether or not a cell value is less than another cell value. That's true, which means this must be returned. And then I know that this is the multiplication of these two things here. And you can see the values. Now this is not an overly complicated formula to begin with. It's really not all that big. Later on in this video, I'll show you a far more complicated formula, and we can talk about that. But I'm here to show you the basics of it right now. So let's expand the entire tree. And this is what we're looking at. We can see that by breaking things down, it becomes far more easy to understand a complicated formula. Okay, let me talk about some of the other features of the add-in. Other features of the formula tree window. First of all, you can change the theme on the fly. So if you want to use it in dark theme mode, if you prefer that, you can do that here. Just go up to the ribbon and change it, and you can change it back. We'll just use the light theme for now. You notice that when I'm clicking the rows here, the corresponding formula portion is highlighted on the editor. So that's useful. I can also select it in the editor and I'll take my cursor there. Now, I can also, if I don't want to use the formatted view of the formula, and I'm just interested in looking at the original formula as it was originally typed in Excel, I can switch the view to the original formula. Now I see the exact original formula, just like it appears in Excel. If I go to the original formula, it's better to use that in this view. So now you can have them stacked vertically, and you can see the original formula, and you can see the formula tree down here. So a lot of my users will do that. Or if you like to have the formatted view, because the formatted view helps you understand the formula as well, then you can go into this view. So these are kind of the two options for you. Now the formula tree window will keep track of all of the cells that you've opened up for that Excel session, and you can actually switch between all different workbooks and anything that you've previously analyzed by using this menu here. I mentioned that this is the original view I'm now in, and that there's another view called the condensed view. The condensed view will take out any of the unnecessary white space that may be in your formula originally. If you want to know where the unnecessary white space is, you can press this diamond button here, and this will highlight it in this purple. In this case, I know that the original formula has these 3 spaces that are actually not required. In other words, if I got rid of the 3 spaces, the formula would behave the exact same way. If I'm interested in getting rid of those spaces and sending the condensed formula back to Excel, I can press this button here. This will send whatever text is here back to the cell and update your formula. So I'm going to press it now, and we'll see those spaces go away. Oh, I'm in the wrong view. I need to go to the condensed view. This was the original view, so it has the same formula. In the condensed view, I'll press it, and we'll see they just went away there. Now I can refresh the formula. So here's the formatted view, which has all of the unnecessary white space that's been added by the formatter. I think you get the idea. Now, as you're using when the FormulaTree window is open, you can still interact with Excel. You can manipulate formulas, you can do whatever you want, and this window will stay open. That's one thing to note. If you want to, as you click around Excel, if you want to also track the cell and show the formula that you're currently on in the FormulaTree window, you can press that. Now, as I click through, it'll automatically track my cell for me. Go to any formula. And then those are added to the history, and so you can go back and forth there. But we're going to go back to here. I've turned it off, so now I can go like this. If I want to then refresh a cell manually, I can just press the refresh button, and it'll do that. So I click this cell, but I'm not tracking it, and then I can refresh it like that. So I'll refresh it. Okay, let's do an auto size. Okay. Okay, so that's what we have. Now, let's say I'm on A48, and I see that it has the value 1, and then I open it up and I see, oh, it's got another formula. Now I have two options. I can just keep clicking inside this current tree and just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. And you can go to any level of depth here. So if this was a formula in E8, you could expand that one, see the formula, and go on and on and on. In this case, E8 is actually just a value 25. But what I can do instead is I could say, I don't really want to complicate this window anymore. I want to open up A48 in a new window. So I can go to the context menu, open in new window. Now I'm going to launch a second window just for A48, and I can just analyze that formula in isolation. Okay. I can also load it in this window too if I wanted to. I just loaded it in this window. Now I'm going to go back to the original one. Okay, so you can see it's kind of flexible like that. Just want to make sure I cover all the features. Okay, so that is the premise of what's going on here. Now, there's also a lot of options that are available. You press this button to toggle the options pane. It'll open up like this. Auto size it again. I'm not going to go through all the options, but they're broken up into sections. And so, for instance, let's say you go to Formula Editor Formatting. So here you can control how the formatting is done. There's lots of options available. Do you want to have space between the operators? If I turn that off, you can see the spaces between the operators go away. Okay, stuff like that. And there's other things you can do with there's all sorts of features here. Check it out at your leisure. So that's what's going on here. We can collapse functions and put them on one line. Let's say this is my preferred way of formatting this formula. I could send this to the cell, and now you can see the cell in Excel has this format. If I wanted to undo that, I say, oh, I don't really want that. I don't really want the formula written that way anymore. I can just simply go to the condensed view, which I know takes out all the unnecessary white space, and I can update the cell again back to its original value there. Okay, there's also, so let's go back to the formatted view. So then, if I'm on a couple of the features I want to talk about, if you're on a particular row in the tree, you can press F2. That will highlight the corresponding formula portion inside the formula bar in Excel. Okay, you can also do that by saying select in formula bar. I can also click on this, the logical test. That will launch this dialog here, and it'll go to the actual argument that you're referring to. So in this case, I was looking at the is error, which was the logical test, and it's highlighted that one. Let's try it for the value one. Or no, sorry, let's try it for the value if true. See, now value if true is highlighted. So here I could come in and I could change the formula if I wanted to. Let's expand the entire tree again. So that's what you can do there. You can also select the cell that's, if I want to select cell A48 in Excel, then I can just go like this and select the cell, and now it's selected. This will also work if the cell is in another worksheet or another workbook. It'll highlight that workbook. It'll go to that workbook and present the cell to you. You can also click on the cell by doing that, going to the cell by clicking on this text here. Okay. I'm just checking else what I want to talk about in this video. So I think that's it. I want to show you one formula that's far more complicated. Then you can really see how this thing can shine. So I have another workbook here. I'll close this. I want to go to this workbook here. I want to look actually at this formula right here. We're going to launch it in the FormulaTree window. Let's see. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press auto size. Okay, here's kind of what we're looking at. This is the formula here. It's like 4 lines, pretty long, 2,000 characters. And I want to try to understand what's going on in this formula. How is this formula arriving at the result of 26,300? This is what I recommend you do. This is what I would do on a complicated formula. I would go to the home cell and I would right click and I'd say collapse all the inactive children. This will remove any of the children that this will collapse all the rows that are not actually being part of the final result of the formula because of a logical condition that's making them inactive. Okay, and then you can actually quickly trace it down. Now you can do it from the left, you can do it from the editor, or you can do it from the tree. The editor will show you that this if statement right here, which I can select in the tree, this one here is actually the majority of the formula, but it's actually all inactive. It's not being used in this calculation because of its parent if statement. So if I go to the parent if statement here, we know that this if is actually true, which means that this value if false is not returned. So this whole thing is wiped out. Now we know that the formula comes from here, this if statement. So now we're looking for the 25,600, and we can see that this if statement is returning false, which means this one is not returned, which means that the result of the entire formula is actually AP15, the cell AP15. AP15 is itself a big, long, complicated formula, and if I wanted to drill down on that one, I could do that from here. I could keep going and going and going, or I could open in a new window, as I showed you before. Now I can just look at AP15. This is the idea of how you can go to any depth you want. If you had to go 25 cells deep, you could do that. Well, I hope it doesn't come to that for you. So this really is the powerful feature of the FormulaBoost add-in, the ability to launch this window and to really debug formulas. It can do any kind of formula. It can do complicated ones like indirect. It can do lets. It can do lambdas. A lot of things that Excel doesn't actually show you the intermediate result of because it's considered volatile. FormulaBoost can actually figure it all out for you. And again, there's a lot of options about how you can customize the window. For instance, if you're not interested in seeing the info column, you can just get rid of it like that. You can do all sorts of stuff like that, and you can customize this how you like it, and all your settings are saved. So if you're interested in trying out the add-in, the add-in's called FormulaBoost, formulaboost.com, and you can download a free trial. You don't have to give me your email or anything. Anyone with an internet connection can download it, and they could do exactly what I'm doing right now without any email or credit card required. So check it out. There's an add-in for 30 days for free, and then after that, you can decide if you want to purchase it. Okay, thanks for watching.